Hey, what's up YouTube? So I'm gonna do a video going over 5 of the most important tips that you will need to know to pass your driving test. I'm going to go through them one at a time. I'm going to actually demonstrate the 5 most important things that you need to know in order to pass your driving test. Before I get into the video though, I'm going to ask you to do what I always ask you to do, which is like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit that notification bell, and again, just please share the video, tell your friends about the video, tell your family members about the video. Help me to build the channel. Alright, step number 1. I'm going to tell you straight up, there are no tricks in the driving test. I know people are calling and even asking me on my YouTube channel, what if there are any tricks, or what do I need to know. There are no tricks. The test is actually quite straightforward and very easy actually, as long as you know the basic. So the first thing, tip number 1, make sure you have the basic driving skills down. That is like probably the most elementary thing ever, but you would be surprised how many people show up to the DMV to do a driving test that cannot drive. And it is a requirement to pass a driving test, I would suppose. Like, if you can't drive, it's actually quite difficult to pass the test. So make sure you know how to drive enough to pass the driving test. You don't have to be a professional driver or an experienced driver, because obviously you won't be when you're taking your driving test. So make sure you can do the basic things as it relates to driving. You must be able to control the car, you must be able to stop the car properly, and you must be able to steer in order to pass the driving test. Alright? So that's tip number 1. Make sure you can drive the basic. You make sure you can do the basic. You don't have to be professional, but make sure you can do the basic. That's tip number 1. Alright, so I'm going to show you another tip that is in the driving test that is mandatory that you know how to do. Alright, so I'm going to reverse from where I'm parked right now, and I'm going to take you through the 4 other mandatory things that you should do. Alright, so I'm going to reverse until the mirror gets to the end of the line here, and I'm going to turn all the way to the right. Alright, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do the other thing that you must know how to do to pass the driving test, and that would be the 3-point turn. Again, the 3-point turn is going to be done in an area similar to this. It's in a parking lot. It's always in a parking lot. But if you notice, I am up close to the right side, as close to the right side as you can get without actually going into the parking space. Again, close to the right side, but not into the lines, the parking lot lines. Alright, so we're gonna signal left, turn the steering wheel all the way to the left, and then I'm gonna release the brake, and we're gonna go until you're close to the line, and you're going to stop about there. You're not into the parking space, but you're close enough to it. Alright, put the car back in reverse, turn all the way to the right. You're gonna look behind, make sure you don't go into the space. When your mirror is in the middle of this area, that's a good place to stop. Put it back in drive, signal left, and turn all the way left again. Okay, that is your 3-point turn. Alright, that is the second thing that you must know how to do in order to pass the driving test. The third thing that you have to do, and you must know how to do this in order to pass the driving test, you must be able to reverse in a straight line for like 30 feet without going into the parking space or on the other side of the road. So you put the car in reverse, and you just keep the wheel perfectly straight. If you stop when you start reversing, the car will definitely go straight back. So you look behind you and you just go straight back for about 30 feet. Right? That is the next thing that is on the driving test that you must know how to do. All right? Now we're going to do the other thing that is on the driving test that is mandatory that you know how to do. And that would be parking. Okay? So we're going to park into this parking space right here. You're going to go until your mirror is lined up with the line. In the driving test, they will have cones there. So you line up the mirror, you turn the steering wheel all the way to the left, and you go into the space. When you get to the middle of the space, you straighten the wheel like that. Make sure you're straight when you're pulling in. Pull straight in. And you stop. Right? You must know how to do that. So that is number 4 that you must know how to do in order to pass the driving test. The other thing that they're going to ask you to do that you must know how to do is called a quick stop, which means they're going to ask you to speed up to about 20 miles per hour and then slam the brakes as if it's an emergency. It's in the driving test, and the only time that they don't do a quick stop is if it's raining. So if you're doing a driving test and it's not raining, you will be required to do a quick stop. And we're talking about the Florida driving test, by the way, because you know it's not there. There are some states that they have mandatory, parallel parking, or you have to know how to do the hand signs and all of that. In Florida, those things are not necessary. So we're gonna do the quick stop. So we're gonna speed up to 20 and do a sudden stop. All right. See, 20 miles per hour, and then do the quick stop. Okay, those are the 5 things that you will need to know, and those are the 5 tips that I can give you as a person that takes people for the driving test on a regular basis, and 95% of my students pass the driving test. Those are my 5 tips to you that if you follow them, it's a good likelihood that you will pass your driving test. Like those things, you take the time to learn how to do those 5 things, and you are almost guaranteed to pass your driving test. Obviously, you have to stop at stop signs. You can't drive on the wrong side of the road. You can't hit the curb, and all of that. Those are all things that are necessary also to make sure you pass the driving test. But if you follow those 5 things along with the basic common sense things, like if you're taking a driving test, obviously you're not going to just run over a curb and expect to pass. You can't run stop signs and expect to pass. You must listen to what they're telling you to do. They're going to be talking to you on the phone. They're not in the car with you, but they're going to be talking to you on the phone. So you must follow instruction. All right? Again, those are my tips. My tips to you. So just try to learn how to do them before you go for your driving test. All right? Again, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell, and share the video. Also, check out my Instagram page, ACC Driving School. My Facebook page is ACC Driving School, and my TikTok is ACC Nation. All right. Check out my other YouTube channel for ACC Records. All right. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.